Welcome everyone to our regularly scheduled BrightID AMA call. We don't have a special topic today. We don't have any special guests, but I see a lot of new people coming in. So thank you for coming. Somebody's been doing a good job of telling everyone about BrightID. So thank you for doing that. And as we all know, BrightID is better when you have friends, works better. So thank you, everybody. I think we can just go ahead and open it up. Does anybody have a topic that's on their mind or a question or something they've been thinking about? You can raise your hand or you can type it in chat. I'll read the chat. I see there's some chat coming in right now. Yeah, we're not going to make connections during this, but just raise your hand or type in your question if you'd like to join in. And welcome to Philip. Welcome to all the BrightID stars. Good to see all of you here. Happy Thursday. I guess it's Friday in some places in the world, but happy GM. GM is the best thing to say. That we don't have to know. GM works for any time of day, any day, any time of day. Some people are having weekend, happy weekend. So what are some new things that are happening? Gitcoin started a new round, a whole bunch of new things. I think the newest thing that we at BrightID notice right away is the passport. So this is new. Yesterday I was on a town hall call. There were a bunch of people. We were talking about the new Gitcoin round. It was open to the public, and they were talking about the new Gitcoin Passport and explaining it. What they said was that it's an improvement over the old trust bonus. They're trying to make it more decentralized. So the old one, everything was just on the Gitcoin servers, because Gitcoin runs an application and that part is centralized. They're trying to decentralize more and more of it, just like BrightID is. We're probably more decentralized at this point than they are, but anyways, they're working on decentralization. That's one of the pieces they wanted to decentralize. They want to know who the unique people are that are using Gitcoin. And they don't just want that to be something that is kind of like a secret way of doing it that's on their servers or something like that. They want it to be an open, out in the open method of telling who's a unique human on Gitcoin. And so they've transitioned to something called Gitcoin Passport, where you get to pick. Before they were, we know how it works because we helped them implement the first trust bonus. And the way it used to work, the way trust bonus used to work, is they had an identifier that they created that was unique for everyone. It was just a number that they had internally. They didn't even show you what it is. And they kept it on their server, and that's how they kept track of everybody. And then they look at your behavior, look at things like, are you linking BrightID? Are you linking other things? And tried to make an assessment about who's a unique human. And then they use that in their matching bonus calculations. So that was the old way of doing it. And the new way, you create your own identifier. And that has challenges, as we're seeing. And I think Philip is probably the person who has had his passport reset the most times of anyone I know. So it's got challenges, and they're working out. This is the first version. Because you're the one generating the number, or the identifier, I guess I should say, the unique identifier. It's using an Ethereum address, but it's also being stored in your browser. As far as I know, I don't know all the implementation details, but because of the way they're doing it, we found out that it's easy to lose and have to start over. It's easy to lose your passport, but luckily it's also easy to start over, and it only takes like a minute to do everything again. But it's interesting. Does anyone want to talk about their experience with Gitcoin Passport so far? And if you want to ask I see some people are saying, I have a question. Just type out your question if you actually have a question, or raise your hand and you can get on the microphone. But if you have a question or you want to talk about your experience with Gitcoin Passport, just go ahead, please.
Yeah, I'll just say, right, so I've been struggling a little bit with the Gitcoin Passport. Yesterday, after a bunch of attempts, I finally got it all set. I had my verification in, I had my 150% trust bonus. I linked to my trust tab, all looked good. And I went back today and it was all gone. And I don't understand what happened. I'm back to no trust bonus. My passport is completely empty. And I'm kind of dumbfounded about what happened. I guess I'll just go do the whole process again, but
yeah,
I can't think of what I did that made it go away.
Yeah, I don't know either. So my strategy is going to be, well, it's good to give this feedback. So Gitcoin has a server. They've got a pretty nice ticket system where we can ask questions. So I already asked one question about it, which is how do you, because I couldn't figure out immediately how to link the my trust. So I filled out the passport and then my trust bonus didn't go up. And so it's not easy to find. That you have to go to the passport, then you have to come back and link it, and then you have to save it. So there's a bunch of little steps. If you miss one of the steps, it doesn't work. So I missed one of the little steps. So based on that feedback that I got, I was able to improve our instructions that we are giving out to people of how to use Gitcoin Passport. But it sounds like they could use some feedback. So I encourage people to go into the support, go to the Gitcoin Discord server, ask your questions on how to use the Gitcoin Passport, tell them that the issues you're having, and that hopefully that will help them so that in the next round, when they do it again, it'll be better that time.
It's frustrating. BrightID has certainly had problems of its own at this point, but plenty of times with this at this time, like none of the problems are on the BrightID side as far as I can see. That the BrightID integration is working. It's issues on the Gitcoin side.
Yeah, it's issues on the Gitcoin side, and this is something that I happen to know that they rolled it out very fast. Gitcoin is in the habit of doing that, and so what you end up with is something that at the beginning doesn't, has problems. And I wouldn't say that this is a mission critical piece, but I have also seen them do the same sort of thing with mission critical pieces where they'll launch it like the day before a Gitcoin run happens, and then they'll have to scramble and try to fix things. So that's just the way they fly. And in the long run, everything works out okay. It can be frustrating in the short run. So I encourage people to give their feedback. Let me see if we have some connections in here. So if people are trying to make connections, if one of the admins in here sees someone pasting connection links, just go ahead and delete it, because this is not a connection. We're not making connections.
The chat cannot be deleted. I'm sorry.
Okay,
The only thing we can do is just.
Yeah. Okay. It looks like we have some spamming going on, so we may need to kick some people. Sorry, guys. Yeah.
I just removed the card.
Yeah. Thank you. Sorry, guys. But oh, okay. Yeah. So Victor is scrolling down.
Yeah, Victor is just making it scroll.
Okay, I was having flashbacks of some of our first early Zoom calls when we didn't know what we were doing, and we just let in a bunch of bad people into our Twitter call, or into our Zoom calls from Twitter. So anyways, okay. So I see some people typing and some questions. Okay, I connected Gitcoin 2 times and link successful, still not verified. Okay, so the verification process is something that happens. It's different than linking, something else. So linking.
Adam, to be clear,
yeah.
What shows up when you successfully, it says verify, like the terminology on the Gitcoin Passport is weird. It says verified when you do it correctly, which is different than verified in terms of BrightID. So there may be
right. Got it. So it's probably talking about the Gitcoin Passport. So the questions that I see so far are very generic questions that you can find in the Gitbook documentation, and you can also see it in the pinned answers in our Discord. So I'm not going to answer those questions here, but I encourage you to follow up on those questions and make sure you get help. But we can help anyone who's new to make sure that they get verified. Okay, yes, thank you, Shine, for that helpful post. So we've got some really good stars that are good at helping people. Welcome to all the new people. Good to see so many new people using BrightID. And yes, thank you for asking basic questions like how to get verified with BrightID. I don't think we're going to answer those in this AMA call. We have good support staff. We also have pretty good documentation for answering that. So I encourage you just to start reading and start looking at what people have already written in our Discord and on our Git book, and you'll find the answers that you need. But if we have answers about things like what can BrightID do, questions about the apps that it's working with, future plans, things like that, I think those are better questions for the AMA. So let's see what other questions people have.
Maybe we got a lot of people is because the Gitcoin round. So
yeah, so I hope we can talk about, I mean, I've tried to talk about some of the things that Gitcoin is doing, which are using BrightID, which I think are really interesting. We talked a little bit about the passport, how it's becoming more decentralized, the benefit of that and what they're hoping for. And they've already done some marketing research on this. They found that there's a lot of, and this is something that BrightID knows, of course, too. There's a lot of companies, projects that want something like this, that their users can just bring around with them to everywhere that they go and be able to say, like, I'm a unique person. And that's what BrightID is trying to be. I've understood from talking to Kevin since the beginning of Trust Bonus and their first integration with BrightID, he realized that there's multiple solutions being tried. He didn't want to settle on just one. So I think Gitcoin Passport is trying to be kind of this generic thing that says, okay, whatever new solution comes out, we want to put it in the Gitcoin Passport. That way, any project, any app that wants to have a unique person solution can use the passport and just have any of those things. Like they can have BrightID, they can have proof of humanity. So it's, the approach makes sense. And the thing that I like best about it is that you're in control. That makes it hard in some ways, but it makes it better. It makes it better because it's not like Facebook where you get benefits at a cost. It's like Facebook is controlling all your data. They know everything about you. They don't tell you everything that they're doing. That cost is too high, I think, for the service that they're providing. So things like BrightID, Gitcoin Passport are giving another way where you are in control of everything. There is no central organization that holds your data. So that's the difference. Okay. Any other questions, topics? What are people thinking about today besides just how to get verified?
I'll bring up something that one of our friends recently told us is a concern in communities that have not used BrightID, is they're worried about their privacy. They think that if they use BrightID, they're giving up their privacy, and some people don't want to do that. That's not what we think, but we should sort of talk about what those misconceptions might be and what BrightID does know, what people can see about a BrightID user. Yeah,
definitely. So just from these recent conversations that you and I have had, and also with Superfizz, we figured out that there's several reasons. And I think part of it is, so these are brand new users who haven't even done BrightID. They're wary about BrightID. I think some of the reasons are, one, they hear that you have to go to a video call to get verified. And they said, well, that's, I'm showing my face, I'm showing who I am. I don't want to do that. I don't want people to know who I am. I don't want to be some BrightID person to know who I am. So that's why they don't want to do it. Another reason is maybe they see the way Proof of Humanity is doing it, and they think that we do it the same way. where there's public information being stored. So part of it is education, that we just tell them that, no, that's not what we're doing. And then part of it is also just giving alternatives that don't require you to show your face, because like you don't actually have, there's nothing magical about showing your face when you get BrightID verified. The thing that should get you BrightID verified is you make a connection with someone through a trusted channel that knows that you're the person that is saying that you're saying you are, and then can vouch for you. So that's that's different than something like Facebook. Facebook has, the reason why we couldn't just use Facebook is Facebook has a problem where I've gotten connection requests that look like my grandma. They come into my inbox and it says like, okay, your grandma wants to connect to you. And I'm like, oh, I thought I already connected with my grandma. But if I'm not careful, I can just click yes, because they stole my grandma's picture, they stole her name, and they're trying to connect with me. In BrightID, that doesn't happen because you use existing channels. So like when I connect with my, when I connected with my mom and dad, we did it in person with BrightID. When I connected with Vitalik, we did it over Zoom on a Zoom call, just one-on-one. When I, connected with the people that I seen here that I have connections with, we mostly did it over Zoom, but we've also made, some of us have also made face-to-face connections. Some of us have made connections over Telegram, Discord. But the point is, it's people that you already know. So it's not like you get a connection request in your inbox. So that's very important to understand that. And that's the way that BrightID should be. The connection parties are just a way for people who have never used BrightID to make their first connection if they don't know anyone, and then learn the guidelines. I think in the future, I think we'll always have something like a connection party where people can learn what BrightID is and how to use it, but it should be optional. And very soon, I think it will be optional to go to a connection party. You should be able to find someone else to connect to that, find another way to do it and get verified that way. What do you think about that, Philip, since you brought up the question?
Yeah, I mean, one of the things we talked about, you and I, is a way to see from the outside what BrightID knows about you and not. And we gave the example of, if you go on Facebook and you go through enough of the settings, you can find out all of the things Facebook knows about you. And if you did that, you would likely be horrified to the extent of their file on you. BrightID is distinctly not that way. So it might be convenient if there was a way people could just go click and be like, really? BrightID knows squat.
Yep.
Yet can still serve the purpose of telling an application that they haven't seen you before.
Yeah, definitely. So I see Muhammad Majid, please go ahead with your question. See your hand up. Okay. If you would like to ask a question, you can go ahead. Otherwise, we'll just move on. So what do we have? I see some new questions in here. Does anyone from our team see an interesting question that in the chat that we should address?
This question is
think-
okay. This question that said
Yeah, go on.
Maxun Alam, how we track duplicate person in BrightID verification.
Yeah, would you like to
Comparison
answer
to-
that, Victor?
Well, there is a question here because BrightID doesn't only fight against duplicates, right?
Oh, I think he's frozen. Could
Yeah,
you
you're
could you
frozen.
back up about 30 seconds, Victor? We missed what you said. Your internet seemed to freeze for a minute.
On my side, Victor is already frozen.
Okay, so Yazdani, do you want to answer that until he comes back?
So there's two things that we should care about: the smaller scale attack and larger scale attack. And with meat verification, we only want to like be against the large scale attacks. And with other verifications like B2, like Aura, we are going to fight against the small scale attacks. So it's possible for anyone to like join 5 meetings and have 5 BrightID account now, but no one can own 100 BrightID account. So we hope that in the future with B2 and Aura, we will be able to fight against the small scale attacks.
Yeah, thank you. That was a very clear and concise answer.
It's important
Yeah, go
noting
ahead.
that the graph that's being built out now, even with that low level verification, is still very useful. So while we don't intend to use the meets verification for the long term of BrightID, all the efforts that people take to get that still solidifies their place in the graph, their longevity in the graph. So this is not wasted. This is just version 2, 3, 4, 5 will all be better and built on top of any actions people are taking now.
Yeah, great answers, great answers. Any more questions about that, or do we see any other questions in the chat that we should answer?
There is something about a sponsorship. If you enlighten them about the front end issue, then it will be fine.
Sorry, I couldn't see who was talking just now. Oh, Shaheen. Okay, hey Shaheen.
Yeah, people are asking in here as well that they're not seeing a sponsor tick, but I think it doesn't matter if you see it or not. If you in backend it's fine, then everything is fine. Just go to a get role after verifications and click verify, send verify. If it does feedback you that you are verified and the bot recognize you, that means you're fine. You don't have to worry about the tick.
Yeah, thank you. Good answer. Yeah, so we're noticing both on the Gitcoin side and on our side some temporary issues with what we display regarding verifications and sponsorships, but like Shaheen said, it should be working for you. Okay, so I saw some questions about tokens. I saw some questions about future plans. So yeah, we love to talk about future plans. Oh, Victor's back. So anyways, yeah, Victor, welcome back. Sorry that you had connection problems. Yazdani gave a good answer to the question about meets verification and the types of attacks that we're trying to prevent with our different verifications. And he talked about how meets can prevent a large scale Sybil attack and other things like that exist or are coming, called like Aura and B2 can prevent the small scale attacks. Do you have anything to add to that?
Yeah, the only thing I want to say that it has to do with what you're talking about the showing your face in the meeting. That is the only thing that we need to prove is that you wasn't here before trying to verify another account. So that's why we need to see your face, just to recognize you, to see you and be sure that you wasn't here before. So that's the only reason.
Yeah, thank you. Excellent answers. Really great answers, everybody. So yeah, going to ask, so someone asked about the token. So we can talk, we've talked before in previous AMAs, but I think it's interesting to talk about BrightDAO. And that's what the token primarily is for. So BrightDAO is a really interesting type of organization. And people who are used to working with corporations and other legal entities will find it very different the way it operates. But the Bright token is the kind of the thing that makes it go, the thing that operates the Bright DAO. That's what the Bright token is. And if you want to learn more about kind of the ins and outs of how that works, I think our our Git book has a whole section on the BrightDAO, and also it's what's known as a Gardens DAO, which is something that OneHive launched. And there's some really interesting documentation and articles written about what Gardens DAOs are. So I encourage you to read up on what a Gardens DAO is, and what BrightDAO is and how it works. And if you like that idea of how it works, I encourage you to get some Bright token. Even if it's just a small amount, get some. If you vote with Bright token and you figure out how to use the Garden DAO and you start voting with your Bright token, you earn more Bright token by using your Bright token. So get some Bright token, learn how to vote with it, use it, participate in the DAO. If you're someone who wants to work on BrightID and make it better, you can make proposals to the DAO and get paid to do your proposal through the DAO. And that's what we want, is we want there to be this cycle of BrightDAO will earn revenue through the things that it builds. That revenue goes back into the BrightDAO. The Bright token itself is used to pay people, but also to vote, to decide, help the community decide what projects are worth pursuing. So I encourage you to read up on Gardens DAOs. There's a lot to it. I encourage you to look at what the DAO is doing. Hold some Bright. If you believe in BrightID, hold some Bright, because we're doing our best to increase the revenue for BrightID and give value to the Bright token. So I encourage you to become a holder of Bright. And yeah, so that's that. I hope that answers some questions about tokens. Anything else anyone wants to say or ask about that?
I am seeing that there is people talking about making connection between them. So I would like to ask you, about what do you about people connecting with the strangers in the, I mean, usually I to them in the meetings that we don't want you to connect with the strangers. I mean, first know the person, know who it is, and why you want to connect with him, and then do the connection later. But the people think that if you got more connections, it would be better for you for some reason. So I would like to hear from your mouth what you think about it.
Yeah, thanks. Also, I see a question here. When is the next governance? Could someone post a link in chat either to BrightDAO or to the some documentation on BrightDAO, because it's happening all the time, and you can watch it happening in real time.
To clarify, there have, I don't know, been 20 some odd votes, most of them small in BrightDAO. There could be another one tomorrow. They come as they come, and the structure of the Gardens DAO helps this work out in what would make sense for the community. If the community thinks it's a good idea, they can use conviction voting to pass it, and if they think it's something that shouldn't be there, we can and have used the Celeste dispute system to get in the way of something that shouldn't be used. So we need a number of people to be involved in BrightDAO at any given time. We don't need everyone, because that's like how one of the benefits of conviction voting is you don't need everybody if you have general consensus.
Yeah, really great answers. Thank you. And there's some posts in here now, so you can read more about BrightDAO. But I encourage you get a little bit of Bright token. One of the nice things about it is it's on Gnosis chain, so using it and trading it is much cheaper than Ethereum mainnet. So the gas fees are almost nothing. And someone also asked, so actually, before we talk about Unitap, which is a way to get started in Gnosis chain, before we talk about that, let's go back to Victor's question. So how do different people in BrightID, and how should we think about making connections with strangers? Is it good? Is it bad? There's a new feature that came out in the BrightID app, which if you get a connection request or you see a connection request that you think is spam, so maybe someone's putting connection requests in a place where they shouldn't, you can click on it and report it as spam without sharing anything with that person. They don't even know who you are that clicked on it. You can report that the fact that they made that connection request to you. This is useful to be able to fight spam. So I would say be cautious of if you get a request or you see a request from a stranger that you're not expecting or that you don't want, and go ahead and report it, because that discourages that behavior. Now, then there's another thing, and this is kind of like the gray area. If you get to know someone online, like I'm looking here, there's people that I feel like are my friends here that I've never met in person. I've only ever met them on Discord or Zoom calls. So if you become friends with someone, then go ahead and make a BrightID connection with them. That's fine. That's good. And if you're just practicing, let's say that you're in a, not this call, because we're not doing it right here, but let's say you're in another call, another meeting, and you want to make a group BrightID connection just to connect with more people, just go ahead and do it. And if there's people in there where you feel like, well, I don't really know this person, that's what Just Met is for. But I think what Just Met is not for is for trying to just, you know, go to people that you're not even otherwise associating with, just going out of your way to try to catch someone's attention on Twitter, Discord, or something that you've never talked to before and try to get them to make a BrightID connection with you. That's never going to help you. And especially if you create an already known connection, you have just as much chance as the person making that connection with you being a bad person as being a good person. You don't know what you're going to get. So I would say don't do that. Yeah. Oh, and someone asked about recovery connections. Yes, when you recover, you need 2, but you need to set up 3. That will probably be more flexible in the future, but that's one where you really want to be careful who you choose. Don't just find someone on Discord that you've known for one day and make them your recovery connection. This is something that you want to take some time with. Add your actual friends and family to BrightID. The way I did it with some of my friends and family are actually using BrightID. They're actually using the apps. Some of them are only using BrightID because I asked them to, so that I could have more social recovery connections, because it's someone I really trust. I told them, hey, this is BrightID. For me, it's easy because I work on BrightID, so they know what I'm working on. And I tell them, hey, I know you're not going to use this because you don't use Gitcoin or Rabbit Hole or whatever, but could you please install BrightID and let's make a connection, and then I'm going to set you up as my social recovery connection. And that's worked out fine for me. So I would encourage you to find someone that you actually, and they don't even have to be verified. That's the other thing. They don't even have to be BrightID verified. They just have to install the app. So find people that you actually know in real life, or that you feel like you trust, and set them up as your recovery connection. That's like the highest connection level that you can have. Oh, and then we had some other topics. Does anyone want to start talking about the other topics? Like, does someone want to talk about Unitap and how you can get started with Gnosis chain, stuff like that? Who wants to answer that question?
I mean, we'll get much more into Unitab in the coming
Oh, that's
weeks.
right. We're going to have a special Unitap AMA coming up.
The simple solution is it's going to be a faucet that can distribute various crypto assets to people in an equitable way. It uses BrightID for its Sybil resistance, and the early. We have big dreams for what it can become, but in the early stages, it'll give out free gas on inexpensive networks. XDAI being a Gnosis chain being one of the prime examples of that. There are some actions where you don't need much, but you need to be able to do a transaction. People that wanted to claim our first sold-out NFT, it was free to claim, but you needed 1/100th of a penny worth of XDAI in your wallet to do it. Some people didn't have that. Unitab would be a solution for that person, so that they could take their first on-chain action.
maybe from a more basic level, we need to say that there is not only Ethereum mainnets in the network. There is a lot of networks there that there are maybe some things similar to the Ethereum, but has some differences. But all what they have in common is that all these network based in Ethereum, they require fees to make transactions. And sometimes we need a little bit just to start using that network. So maybe if you want to know a little bit more about what is a faucet or what Unitab what to do, you need to understand that there is a lot of networks there, and try to use your MetaMask. So the only thing maybe that I can say right now that is an easy way to add networks safely to your MetaMask is go to the Sushi app application, to the exchange. On top, you will see the network that you are. If you click in there, you will see a list of a lot of networks. And just clicking in each network, you are going to add safely that network to your MetaMask. So maybe that's the only tip I can give to the people to know.
Yeah.
More
Yeah,
networks.
thank you for explaining the fee. And that's also something that Unitap wants to do, is be an easy way to add networks. So you can add a bunch of networks, you can collect a little bit of gas token for each network. So it should turn out to be really great. We've had we're in conversations with Chainlink, and we're in conversations with like a bunch of different networks to get them onto Unitap. So everyone's really excited about it. All the networks are excited about it. It could be a really big thing. We want it to be one of the ways that a bunch of new people come and start using the crypto applications for the first time. Because it's not just cryptocurrency, right? Some people think that, okay, I got like a whole bunch of people around the world last year, they got their account on Coinbase or Bitfinex or something like that, and they're like, okay, now I've got cryptocurrency. I'm part of the movement, right? Well, to me, like, okay, that was maybe your first baby step, but your next baby step is to actually start using it with something. You do something with it, and to do that, rather, collecting is important, but doing something with it is also important. And that's what Unitap wants to do. It wants to help people get to the point, like bring in all these people that maybe are interested in crypto but haven't used it for anything, to take their crypto and start actually using it in different applications, things like that. And to do that, you need to be able to pay the network fees. So I think that's the goal of Unitap.
But you said that we are going to talk more about Unitab, the future.
Yeah, because we have an AMA coming up. I don't know, maybe next week. It's pretty soon. We have one coming up for Unitab.
So to the people that want to know more about, just stay tuned. Look for the Discord, and we're going to be more deeper inside the Unitab project, because it's a project for long. When it's it's a big project, so it's not going to be something.
Yeah, it'll be a big project.
flow.
It could be, I mean, if we've always known, this is something with BrightID, people like free things. Like whenever we get a jump in our user base, it's usually because we're giving away something of value for free. And then you'll see a bunch of new people come in. So Unitap is kind of like this ongoing thing. It's almost like a party happening every day. It's like in the future, there'll be a new thing coming and giving away tokens every day on Unitap. So people will come and just be able to go to one place and just keep getting more of tokens, so they can so that they can use them and do things with them. So I think it'll be very popular. It could be one of the most popular apps pretty soon. And because it's something that's built by BrightDAO, that it's using the Bright token, that it provides a revenue for BrightDAO, I see it being a really important source of income in the future.
All kind of
for BrightDAO.
tokens, NFTs. maybe.
Yeah. Yeah. What do you think, Yazdani? What do you think about NFTs and Unitab?
Sure. Unitap can be used to distribute any kind of tokens.
Cool.
So
Definitely NFTs. I was thinking
Definitely.
also a fun thing to do would be like a raffle, like you spin the wheel, you don't know what you're gonna get. So like, maybe you spin the NFT raffle and like you don't know what art you're gonna get. And there's 20 different like NFT projects in there. Who knows? And most of them are new artists and they don't have much value yet, but who knows about the future? And then maybe there's like someone put some established things in there that like it's not likely you're gonna get it, but you might. They're there.
Or exclusive, something like that. Yeah. Someone is asking here about more B2 verification. I don't know if you want to talk about that.
I can say, yes, I understand B2 is frustrating. I feel your frustrations. It's hard if you don't know anyone. We've talked with people that are doing everything right. They understand how BrightID works. And there's no like magic wand that can speed up the B2 verification. And so I just have to tell people like, hang in there. I'm sorry that if let's say you're coming to use it for mana and you're not collecting your mana,
But
I'm
it's only
sorry
for
about
mana.
that.
It's only for mana.
Yeah, right now it's only for mana. Other things are considering using it, but I think they'll use it in a way that maybe if you get meets verification, you get a little bit of something like this is how Unitap's going to do it. And then if you get B2, then you get a little more. And also to give people hope, I will say that we're launching another verification system called Aura, which is another higher level one. So in the future, maybe it'll be like B2 or Aura, or maybe more people will use, or more apps will use Aura than B2, but Aura should be an easier one. It's still not as easy as Meets. Meets is the easiest one, where you show up and everyone's going to get it. You're always going to get your Meet verification. With B2, there's just no guarantee. We can never say like everyone's going to get it. And that's what makes it hard.
I had to tell you something about it because you can get B2 without the Meets level of verification.
Right. That's a good point.
You can
So
get it.
that makes it, when you're doing the levels, you could say like, okay, this one is for Meets or B2, and then this level is for just B2 if you're giving away maybe
So
tokens.
I am going to give you a tip, Raja Saha, or because you are on the person asking about it, but don't force the B2 verification because the system is not only giving benefits, but it's punishing. So if you start making connections with people that you don't know, they are strangers, and you start making connection with them using the green option I already know, just because you think you are going to get fast the B2 verification, think about it that on the internet, everyone is your enemy. Everyone wants to scam you. Everyone wants to take advantage of you until they prove wrong. So if you start making connections with people that you don't know, they are going to take advantage of you. They will try to verify fake accounts. They will try to verify multi-accounts. So the system is going to catch them because the system is working constantly for that. If you got connections with this kind of people, you are going to get punished and will be really hard for you to get your B2 verification. If you want to have the B2 verification as fastest as possible, try to connect with people that you trust, with people that you know in real life. Connect only with them, don't connect with the strangers. And if you want to have a stranger's connection like myself of anyone, but you can say, maybe I can trust this person, but I don't know him in real life, use the yellow option first, then start knowing that person. And in the moment that you trust in him, change that to the green option. Don't do the thinking about just reaching goals that is connecting with people, and connecting with more people, it will be better. No, that's not the way that you need to use your BrightID account. Okay, Raja?
Yeah, thank you. Great answer, Victor. Okay, we're getting close to the end. Is there maybe one more topic that we want to bring up? Or does anyone have a question about one of the topics that we already talked about today?
I see a question here that how much time takes to verify. I mean,
Yeah, yeah. So I think people have been frustrated because I think we've said in the documentation that it takes 30 minutes or less. But I know that there have been times when there's a lot of people trying to get verified, like let's say there's some new event that well, we saw this with our Bright token fair drop, that when a whole bunch of people are trying to get verified at once, sometimes it can slow down. And first of all, the connection parties get filled up, but even if you get into the connection party, if there's a lot of people, it can take longer than 30 minutes. So what's your advice, or what do you notice about that, Victor or anybody else?
Well, what I notice is that the people that try to do things without knowing tend to make some things that maybe could be slow with the process. Like they made a lot of accounts, different accounts, trying different phones, connecting with different people before even making a connection with our BrightID star. So maybe the system tends to think that there is a weird behavior or something like that, because they got a lot of connections from account from, I don't know, 1 week ago, and he is like flagged as suspicious for another people and that kind of stuff. So the best way to, maybe the fastest way to get the verification process is just making your account in the moment before joining the connection. So, but I mean, you already get it, but what can you do about it? So no, the only is go join the meeting, follow the instructions, and hope that everything going fine. And don't make connection with people that you don't know. That's the only thing I
Yeah.
need to say. Don't make
Yeah.
connection with people that you don't know. My last question is,
yeah.
will I do verification today or tomorrow? Which time? Okay. There is it. Thank you, Adam.
Yeah, if you're looking for the schedule, there it is. Yep.
And try to join in a language that you can understand. We don't ask for the people to, I mean, if you are not understanding English, anyway, you will join the English meetings. But anyway, so the thing is that you are not only getting verified in the meeting, we need to tell you some information, so you understand more about the application, how to use it, what it is, why we are in the meetings, why we do these meetings. We tell all about that in the meeting. So if you don't understand that information, we're not going to verify you. So you need to come to a meeting that at least you understand. You don't need to be like fluent in the language, but at least you need to understand what we are saying in that meeting. And that's the reason that we got a lot of languages in the meeting, in that web page.
Thank you. Tara, cool. I see your hand is up. Go ahead if you'd like to speak on the microphone.
Hello. Hello, sir. My account recovery can't recover my account.
Okay. What about your account?
Wait.
Very cool. Hindi, Farsi.
Okay, I think
Turkish.
he's trying to recover his account, but he cannot do that. So,
Oh,
Tarikul, you can start a conversation in our Discord. There is Shaheen, Igor, and I will be there. So let's check this problem. Who is there have anything wrong or error, or you are doing something wrong? So let's continue in the Discord.
Yes,
Okay.
please get help in the Discord. We will help you. We will look at your how you've set up social recovery, whether it's possible to use your social recovery or whether you have to just start over. So we'll help you with recovering your account.
Okay, with this, I want to let you know, everyone, from tomorrow, we are going to start our Hindi and Bangla language connection party. So I think that should be help you a lot
Maybe you should set that announcement in the language that they need to
Okay, so
understand.
I am announcing with Bangla, and there have a Masood Alam. He is actually a popular YouTuber in India who is sharing Web3 in India community. So he can continue with Hindi. So আগামীকাল থেকে বাংলাদেশের মানুষদের জন্য বাংলায় কানেকশন পার্টি চালানো হবে। মনে হচ্ছে এটা বিকাল 5টায় বাংলাদেশ টাইম। বাকিটা আমরা অ্যানাউন্স করে দিব ডিসকর্ডে এবং টুইটারে। Yes, Masood Alam, you can continue
हाँ।
in Hindi.
मेरा नाम मकसूद आलम है एंड मैं हिंदी में कल से मतलब ऑर्गेनाइज करूंगा होस्ट जो भी हमारे ब्राइट आईडी का वेरिफिकेशन होगी तो उसके बारे में जो भी फर्दर होगी मीटिंग के लिए वो टाइमिंग मैं डिस्कॉर्ड में आपको बता दूंगा। ठीक है, तो ये जो भी होगे हिंदी में आप मुझसे डायरेक्ट बात कर सकते हो, मैं आपसे हम अंडरस्टैंड कर सकते हैं। जो भी इंग्लिश में थोड़ी डिफिकल्ट होती है आपको समझाने में तो मैं आपको अच्छी तरह समझा दूंगा। ठीक है, ओके।
Okay, thank you, Maksud Alam. The Hindi connection party will be happening at 7:30 Indian time. Hindi connection party होगा 7:30 PM Indian time पे। So जो भी लोग ज्वाइन करना चाहेंगे वो ज्वाइन कर सकते हैं। Okay, thank you everyone.
This is great news. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, everyone, for coming. I hope you will bring your friends to a BrightID meet and then connect with them and set them up as your recovery connection. So great to see everybody. Thank you for the questions, and I'll see you in our Discord. Keep, join our community, keep talking to us, use the applications, and thank you everybody for coming. Talk to you soon. Have a great week.